TNF2 category. We are racing here at Austria this weekend, and I think we got a pretty full grid this morning. We've only got a few drivers who aren't here. I think we've only got 4, but other than that, we got a good grid this morning, and we'll be getting underway. So we're getting underway here. So Austria is one of those tracks where it's 50-50 to rain or be dry. So if you get a full dry weekend, you're pretty lucky, I guess. And also last weekend we had an incident where the F1, or the whole F1 servers just got the online servers just got shut down. So we just took the results from what the positions were from when the time happened, but a lap before. So that made your I think it was Robin, your race winner. But yeah, that whole incident in general is a bit unfortunate. It happened to F3 as well, but you know, what can you do? So Red Bull Ring, it is one of the shortest tracks on the I think it is the shortest lap time on the calendar. I think it's just it's ahead of Monaco. I think average lap time's about a 104, 105. So it's a pretty quick lap time, and it is a one stop. So actually, it just depends which tyre these drivers want to go on qualify on. So it looks like it's dry at the start of, or dry through quali. I'm not sure if it's meant to rain throughout quali though. We'll just have to get a weather report. First one out, that looks like Ludwig. Yeah, it is Ludwig. Let's check here. I can't actually remember where. I don't think Ludwig. I'm not sure if Ludwig actually turned up. I think he did, but I'm not entirely sure. But he's actually had a pretty decent season. He's he had one retirement in Belgium, where he clashed with his rival, or his then rival, Amar. Got a bit of oversteer on the start. I mean, not oversteer. Got a bit of wheel spin on the start, spun it into Ludwig, which is pretty unfortunate. It's really 3 drivers coming out. It's only Banana, Josh, and Oliver so far. As Ludwig starts flying laps, so he's going on the soft. So these will just be the warm-up laps, as I like to say. Because ideally you do not want to be qualifying on the harder tyre here, and it looks like it probably invalidated, because if you do extend that corner quite significantly, you can invalidate, and even if you get your tyres on the curb on the outside, you still can invalidate. So that's invalidated. I think we have Banana Josh on a lap. Yeah, he's coming to turn 1 now. Now it's all clean, I think. We'll get the telemetry out. So Austria, the hairpin, it's quite a hard braking zone, and it's quite hard to get that car in the right angle to get the best exit. And also this corner is quite a difficult corner, and if you're not using ABS, it's quite easy to lock the brakes. And obviously coming through the middle sector, obviously the quickest part of the track, with mostly fast corners. See this corner, and just get on that curve on the exit, and these 2 corners you really want to get the best racing line into them. And if you do shut your car in too much, it can unsettle it, and just your rear can just say no and just spin off. And he does a 6.3. So actually, that lap by Ludwig did not even invalidate. That's surprising, to be honest. So Banana Josh on the top of the timesheets at the start of the session. I think we have Oliver on a flying lap as well, so yeah, so he's just, oh no. I'm not sure if I have that ERS glitch. I don't. So he must have invalidated at turn 1. So other than that, mostly everyone's staying in the garage. As Ludwig actually does his first proper flying lap, which is a 105.8, which is on the softs, which is only about 5/10 quicker than Banana Josh on the softs. So that's not a bad lap there from Ludwig. I think Oliver, yeah, 6-3. You shouldn't. Wondering why there's yellow flags, because you really shouldn't be letting anyone past at the moment. So Oliver is starting another flying lap. He's on the super softs, so it looks like he might be looking to go on the ultra softs. Because if you do qualify on your starting tire at the start of the session, it's not quite ideal, because the track is not in its proper, like, it's not rubbered in, I should say. Oh, who was that? I got a bit of tire screech in there. That was Banana Josh. Obviously, you do extend that the curb on the outside of that corner as well. It's quite easy to invalidate. Yeah, he's actually pulling into the pits, so he's not going to be carrying on. But Banana Josh actually doing another flying lap. I don't think this will be, actually it will be an improvement. It will be a 105.6. So 2/10 clear of Ludwig in P2. So Banana Josh actually not looking too bad here. I'm not sure if this is like one of his strongest tracks or anything, but we'll have to see what he can pull out on the softer tyre. And I think we might have a weather report. I'll just have to check the YouTube. That's the wrong one. Oh no, that's so smart, saying good luck. So we have Robin who's out, and also we have Eduardo. We haven't seen, I think we saw him in, no, we haven't seen him in France, so first time we've seen him, or the second time we've seen him this season. After end of last season, not leaving the league, but having quite a big absence due to something. I'm not quite sure what it is. Oh, Jesus Christ! And it looks like the two, they weren't looking where he was going, and then Eduardo just expected him to move out the way and drilled into the rear of Albert. And I'm not sure who else that was, and it was actually the two Mercedes. But it doesn't look like Starboy's got Stanley's got any damage to his front wing. But yeah, he was just expecting those two Mercs to come out the way, but they didn't oblige, and he just drilled them. And it looks like that has put Robin's lap off as well. So we've gotten information from Ludwig that it's rain after, or 20 minutes into the race. So maybe these guys will want to be starting on the super softs, because I think the ideal strategy around here is ultras to softs. So maybe they'll want to be starting on the supers to extend their stint out, so they can make it to the rain. Oh, that glitch is really annoying. Jesus Christ. Stanley's actually starting his flying lap after that incident. Stanley's not had a very good season so far. He's had a few DNFs. I think most of the races not a few DNFs, but he's had a couple of DNFs, and then in the races he has finished, there's been incidents where it has put him to the back of the grid. So he hasn't scored too many points this season, and he'll be looking to change that this weekend. And he actually gets a little bit slidey out of the hairpin, of going into the hairpin, and he's backed out of it. Yeah, and Oliver's coming out on the ultra soft, so he's committed to the ultras. But yet again, we don't know what time this rain's going to come. As we saw last weekend, he does a 1/6. Obviously, as we saw last weekend with F1, I know, was it F1? I think it was F2. It came pretty quickly before its actual supposed time frame. So Matthew's gone P4, the 106.5. Now we usually often see these Renaults qualifying on the harder compound, and if he does qualify on the harder compound, it actually could set him up quite nice for the race if the rain's coming about halfway through. Stanley's starting another flying lap. He's only 8/100ths of a second down. Wait, sorry. What am I saying? Obviously, this middle sector you really want to nail to obviously get the best out of your lap. If you extend that curve too much, you can invalidate. Just get on that curve really nice. It looks like he's done that quite well. Obviously, you might do want to be using that curve on the outside if you do want to get a faster entry. It looks like he actually, I'm not sure if he invalidated or not. Actually didn't invalidate. He's done a 104.6. So he's just behind Oliver on the ultra soft tyre, which is not too bad from Stanley. And if he is starting on the super softs, then it actually could be quite a nice strategy call from him. Same with everyone else, and obviously Oliver will have to be starting on the ultra softs, unless everyone can improve their lap time and he can get down to P11 or P10. My mouth gets really dry commentate, doesn't it? Albert has jumped into the pits and got a new front wing, and he's out again. I'm not sure if that Mercedes team were telling him that there was a car behind him, but you know, these things happen. I don't know if that'll be going to the shield or not, but I'm sure that Eduardo might be giving some inquiry about that. Looks like mostly everyone is coming out now, except Robin is a 104.1, and that is on the ultra softs. So he tops the timing sheets by about 5/10 of a second. And I'm just going to see who else is on an ultra soft lap. So we have Albert, who's is actually finishing his ultra soft lap, and he obviously in the top 5. I actually think he's invalidated it, but he's actually going to carry on to start another flying lap. And there is rain. Oh no, I just got a glitch of drizzle of rain, but that's Codemasters being Codemasters, you know what I'm saying. And this lap looks pretty tidy from him from the first sector so far. Just nicely hitting that apex out of the hairpin. Coming down into this middle sector. Difficult braking zone here if you're not using ABS, like I said before. He's approaching some traffic, and obviously you will want to get out of the way. And it looks like he's nailed that corner quite nicely, and that really sets you up for the next corner. Actually, he's gone quite slow and he's backed out of it. So you must have invalidated on that outside curb. I see it. The Renault is starting their flying lap. Matthew, yeah, I got that glitch again. If you saw that on stream, just put it in the chat. But I just get a dash of rain. Oh, it looks like Albert has gone off. Coming into the last sector. Or in the last sector. Oh no, that's straight. Out of turn 1. Oh, we have Luca who's actually on up to P4 with a 105.5 on the Ultras. And it looks like Robin, actually. So obviously, in the championship standings, we Luca gets a bit track extends there quite a bit, and obviously in the championship standings we have Amar, who was in the league, is now actually permanently in F1, but he is still leading the championship by 1 point behind, just ahead of Robin. So Robin's still effectively running, leading the championship. He just needs to score points this weekend to take the lead, unless, actually no, that wouldn't be possible, won't it? I was saying, unless Alex can give him a run for his money, but Alex isn't here today. And yeah, constructor standings, we have Ferrari on top, like usual, not like usual, but Amar really put them up there. Now that he's not here, March is really going to carry them, but March isn't here today, so McLaren could be, actually, we only have one McLaren driver. Oh no, we have 2 McLaren drivers, so McLaren will be looking to score big here to jump themselves up in the constructors standings. Williams just behind them, and then Renault and P4 have had a really good result. I think it was in Belgium with a P2 and P4 finish, or P5 finish. Joseph obviously really taking advantage of the DNFs that were occurring during the race. Sector 2, Sector 3, what is this? I think it's just people letting each other by. Oh yeah, it's just oh no. I think Robin's on his front nose, on his outlap. Albert's P2. 104's 2. So while I was talking about that, he's actually improved his time. Actually, Robin's pulling into the pit, so he's not going to be able to put in another lap. So his best is 104.2, and Albert's coming in as well. So the top 2 aren't doing another flying lap. We'll just have to see if Oliver, because he's only 3/10 behind Robin, we'll have to see if Oliver can get his first pole position in the Translation Formula 1. And we'll have to wait to see if this Renault gets out of his way of Joseph, if he does. Oh, and that corner is infamous for invalidating your the next lap as well, but I don't think that's happened. And Banana Josh is gone, and Matthew's gone because they want to improve their laps. All they want to get another lap in, so they're gone. They're out of qualifying. As we're just looking at Oliver so far, it looks like a pretty clean lap from him so far. We'll just have to see if this can. Oh, that might have invalidated him, I must say. So Merrill goes P5 of the 104.9. Yeah, he's backed out of it, so that must have been invalidated here from him. Because they only have Yevgeny who's on a lap, and he goes P4 with a 4.6. So looks like McLaren have got another pole position with Robin, and they go P4 with Yevgeny. So not a bad qualifying there from McLaren. Very solid qualifying there from Oliver. Or result, I should say. Not sure if he could convert it into a pole position if he got a good lap in, but I think he'll take it, or I guess he'll take it, or we'll have to take it. Oh, and Albert's actually got a 5-place grid penalty. I think that was because of the incident with Eduardo. So that actually bumps Oliver up to P2, and that bumps him down to P6. Oh, P7, sorry. So Banana Josh moves up a spot, and everyone else moves up a spot. So Liv the only one who's actually starting on the softs. A few guys on the supers and the top guys on the ultras. So if the rain does come about 20 minutes into the race, these super soft runners could be looking quite nice and set up for the rain. But yeah, again, I'm not a driver, so I'm not quite entirely sure about the weather. And it's actually quite dark at the start of this race. We have to wait for these drivers to sort out the strategy and stuff like that, and then we'll get the formation lap done. And I think we're actually going to have a moment's silence for Niki Lauda, who passed away on Monday. So I think all of us at TNF1 are going to respect and give a moment of formation lap silence. So because that was a nice moment of silence. So, pole position we have Robin, P2 we have Oliver, P3, I'm not the race leader, starting grid. P3 with Eugene, P4 Stanley, P5 Admiral, P6 Joshua Law, P7 Albert, and yeah, rest. So, brought up to the 5 red lights, the Austrian Grand Prix. I'm going to hold. It's lights out and away we go. Looks like Robin got a good start, and Oliver has had a decent start as well. He's actually put it up to the left, outside, and he's going to have a move into turn 1, but Robin keeps that move done, or keeps the position, keeps Oliver behind, and it looks like everyone else has got off cleanly from the back, and Oliver's going to go around try to go around the outside, but Robin defends that position quite nicely. And he's actually going to try to go around the outside, so Oliver really looking really aggressive on this opening laps, and he's actually given Robin a little bit of a tap on the rear. And it looks like everyone else got away cleanly. Oh, and yeah, oh Jesus! It looks like a Merrill got on the rear of Albert, and he's put him in the fence. And it looks like he's made sure that he's not happy. Other than that, everyone's clean away. As Ron will set the fastest lap of the race with 1:10.6. Obviously, that'll be changed on this lap. As Albert comes into the pits for another front wing. I think Amir will do the same. Now, Amir's staying out. So, Albert will just be looking. He probably would have been hoping that Merrill did get wing damage, but he'd probably be even more annoyed that he didn't get wing damage and just kept going. Merrill set his controller turn right by itself. Okay. I'm not sure that'll squeeze you out of incident, Merrill, but you can try. So, we all gotten away cleanly, so race leader, so you got Robin, you got Oliver, you got Stanley, who's had a good start, Yevgeny, the Renault Joseph has had a really good start, Bernardo Josh, Matthew, Luca, Ludwig, Eduardo, Amiral, and Albert, who got involved in an incident either on the first lap. And it looks like Stanley is all over the back of Oliver, but I think he might have backed out a little bit, coming out of the hairpin. See the 2 yellow flag. Oh, and it looks like Bernardo Josh has headed off. And he hasn't been having very good results this season, so he would just be looking to get to the points and score himself some first points of the season. But so living on the softs and PA not looking too bad here. If the rain does come at the prime time of his tyre life, or at the ending of his tyre life. And Matthew gets a pretty nice move there, pretty nice move done on Luca there for P6. Mouth's getting really dry. So yeah, top 3 stay the same from qualifying, and they're actually pretty bunched up, and Yevgeny is not letting them go either. He's still staying with the back of Stanley. So it's a 2 McLaren, a Mercedes, and a Red Bull who are tossing for the lead or podium of the race. And if Oliver does stay like this, he will get a best finish of the TNF1 and his best finish of the season, getting P3 in Britain at his home race. Why have they put the Here we go. Oh, Stanley's got up the inside of Oliver into the hairpin. And he's given a little bit of a tap as well. And he's actually got the move done. So Oliver down into P3 again. Oh, it looks like Yevgeny might have been looking for a little bit of a move there. But he's backed out of it because he knows if he kept carrying on with that, there would be an incident. So these top four showing a decent, evenly matched amount of pace with each other. Oh, it looks like Robin got a little bit of tail happy at the last corner. Yeah, it looks like Luca on the back of Matthew here as well. He's still staying with him after he overtook him on the last lap. Ludwig had a good start. Well, he's had an alright start, but he's down in P8. Ideally, he would want to be up there in the top 5, but after a pretty bad qualifying and an alright start of the race, he's still down P8. But yeah, these top 4 really, and actually Stanley's taking the lead of the race, and it looks like Robin might have made a little bit of a mistake, but I'm not entirely sure. So Robin leads from, Stanley leads from Robin, from Oliver, Yevgeny, Joseph, Matthew, Luca, Ludwig, Eduardo, Joshua Law, Muriel, Albert, and yeah, so Stanley will really be looking to extend his gap out because he's had a really bad start to the season. Robin's going to go for a move up into the hairpin, and he's actually going to try on the outside, but I think he's going to get the switchback move done. I was trying to get the switchback move, but Stanley covers it off nicely, and he's got to defend the inside line for the next corner, as Robin will be looking to go on the outside of Stanley, and if he keeps his, Stanley gets that move defended, but Robin will have the inside line for the next corner. But Stanley went for a cheeky little cutback and still is beside him, but he's tucked in behind him. Actually, no, he's still beside him. Actually, yeah, he's tucked in behind him. Looks like Stanley will be looking for another move up and actually he doesn't have DRS, so not actually knowing if he has the ability to do it or not. I don't think he did, but now he has DRS. But yeah, Oliver and Yevgeny are still on the rear, and it looks like we have a first retirement of the race. Matthew's out of the race. He's actually just parked it, I think. Yeah, these top 4 still bunched up together. Only separated by a second. Sort of split into 2, so you have Robin and Stanley, and Oliver gets his first time penalty of the race. And these other 3 yet still to get a time penalty as Stanley goes around the out, actually gets past Robin before the braking zone, gets the move done, but he will have DRS for the next the next straight, and Robin will be looking to dive down the inside of Stanley. Obviously Robin on the quicker tyre, but Stanley on the longer lasting tyre. So it's actually quite surprising that Robin isn't pulling away here from Stanley, even though he is on the faster tyre. But yeah, Stanley doing a really good job of harassing Robin. As we saw from last season in F2, he's really capable of getting race wins and getting podiums. So I think he'll be looking to do that today. As he's going to go for another move up into the hairpin, he's going to dive down the inside. I think, well, I was going to say Robin would have the cutback line, but looks like Stanley's covered it off. And these two just scrapping with each other, and it looks like they've actually pulled out a little bit of a gap there too. Oh, actually, Yevgeny's gotten past Oliver as well, the P3. So two McLarens up into the podium positions, and we have another, and Amero's gone. So you have Oliver and Yevgeny scrapping, you have Robin and Stanley scrapping. Well, I know it's just going to be you, so I'm not going to have a look at the chat, right? My controller just left by itself, clip the grass and die. Oh, yo. Good one there for you, Emerald. Get a new controller. Yeah, it looks like Stanley is starting to run away with this race. Got a 0.5 of a second gap on Robin. Robin gets a 3-second time penalty. Let's see that corner. It's quite easy to get a warning on there and a time penalty. So, and also these ultra sauce will be starting to die out quite soon. And you can actually see that by Stanley starting to pull away from Robin, who was on the ultra softs. Stanley on the super soft. So Stanley is looking in a very good position here. There's actually Robin pits, and he's going to chuck on another set of ultras. So obviously that rain is going to be coming soon. Yeah, so Stanley is looking in a very, very good position here, with strategy-wise, because he can take these tyres to the rain if it comes in another few laps. And actually Ludwig is getting onto the back of Joseph here for P5. and Joseph's getting the back of Luca, who's in P4. And Oliver pits for another set of Ultra Softs. And Stanley pits as well, which is quite surprising. Saying that he could probably take those Super Softs to the end, but to the rain, but Robin has actually got an undercut on Stanley. Now they'll be evenly matched because they were both on the same compounded tyre. So that's put Yevgeny up into the lead of the race. So according from Amaro, Stanley's a penalty, Yevgeny has a penalty, Oliver has a penalty, and Robin has a penalty. And I'm actually just going to check that. Yes, he has a penalty. Who else? Robin. Robin has a penalty. Oliver's a penalty. Who else are we looking at? Stanley. He also has 2 penalties. If you actually excuse me, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, so I'll be back. Right, see if my mic's working. Right, yeah, it's all working. Right. So it looks like Yevgeny will be looking to stretch his tyres out to the rain. Same with Luca. Actually, yeah, here's the rain now. So we've got the rain. Meryl wants to join us in the com box, so I guess we could invite him. And oh, where is he? Meryl wants to commentate with us, so I guess we'll let him in. And Russ, Yevgeny and Luca are the first ones to duck into the pits. And that pit from Stanley pitting is actually really fucked up his race run, I should say, because now he has to pit again for inters. Same with Robin. Alright, so you're commentating with me. Alright. Pardon? So yeah, Ludwig with the soft tyre actually looking quite nice for the rain, and he's actually pits now. As Robin gets another time penalty. So a pretty big train coming here into the pit lane, all boxing for intermediates. As Stanley gets a nose change. So this has put Yevgeny up into the lead of the race. So he has played his strategy quite nicely compared to everyone else. Yeah, and obviously if Stanley did stay out, like Yevgeny, he would be in the same position. Because we're on the same tyre at start. And that's put Luca up to P2 as well, and Oliver's back up into P3. Oh, and Robin's had an off coming to the middle sector. And that has let Stanley through. And Oliver on the back of Luca coming out of the middle sector. I was saying, Emerald, that you saying that your controller suddenly turned left will probably won't not get you out of a steward report. Albert, oh yeah, Albert's only a second behind Josh, who was actually yet to score a point this season, as he actually had a 3-second time penalty as soon as I go on to him. So I must have given him the commentator's curse. As Robin pits again for wing damage, because of wing damage. So that has really put him down the order. He's in last place in P10, but he'll be looking to catch these guys ahead. He's only got an 11-second gap. But unless his teammate is up there with the McLaren boys, or for the McLaren boys, I should say. And actually, Yevgeny is pulling out a gap to Oliver, and actually Luke is catching him as well. And Stanley's right behind Luca as well, so there could be a three-way scrap here for P2. And Ludwig not far from as well on P5, only 1.8 seconds behind Stanley, as Luca gets a penalty, a 3-second time penalty. As Stanley's going to try and go down the inside of Luca up into the hairpin, and he actually gets the move done, but they're still alongside each other, and actually no, Luca's backed out of it, and Stanley's gone through, and he is in P3. And he'll be looking to get Oliver at this as well. But on Josh, oh actually Albert has gotten past Josh. Real says I'll be back. I have a really bad stomach ache. So Stanley is slowly catching Oliver for P2. It just really depends if he can catch Yevgeny for the lead of the race. And if he can't catch Yevgeny, then we have another new race winner in the yellow flag sector 2. Oh, Luca's had a bit of a moment with looks like Ludwig, who's might have given him a little bit of a serving. and that has put Joseph up into P5. And Eduardo not too far back off either. He's only 2.7 behind Luca. But yeah, Stanley only two and a bit tenths behind Oliver. So it looks like Stanley's got a lot more pace in the wet than Oliver, and actually Oliver lets him go. So Oliver's not gonna contest that because he will lose himself race time, which could get him out of the podium position. So I'm actually going to get these penalties once again. So Oliver has 1 penalty. Stanley has 2 penalties. Yevgeny has 1 penalty. Ludwig, he's only got 1 warning, not 2 warnings. So yeah, Stanley with the most penalties so far. He'll be looking to chase down Yevgeny, as Robin's race is turned upside down, or has been turned upside down by a pretty bad incident. I actually thought that super soft Stanley pitting him from the super soft onto the ultra soft actually put him back a bit, but it's actually still kept them in P2, which is actually quite surprising. Saying that he made another stop than everyone else, if he did pit, then he would be ahead of Yevgeny. And he's actually closing that gap. He's closed it by about 0.7 of a second just throughout those last few corners. Obviously Stanley being one of the quicker guys in F2 last season, needs to show these guys what he's capable of. After not attending a couple of races of DNFing and then only getting a really bad points finish for a couple of races. Oh, he's actually gone onto the grass, but he's kept it on the track. As Eduardo's on the back of Albert for P7. Actually, I think Albert's got past him. Albert has got past him. And so Albert will be looking to chase down Luca. He's only 1.8 seconds behind, 1.7 actually. So obviously we saw last weekend, or the weekend before, Luca not showing a huge amount of pace in the wet. Looks like he struggles quite a bit in the wet, not getting the right balance of car and just things like that. And traction might also be a factor as well, but I'm not entirely sure what assists he used. So here goes the front. Oliver's actually staying with Stanley, and they're both excuse me. They're both catching Yevgeny, and he's actually closed in by quite a significant amount as well. Oliver follows him to the same racing line. Oh, we got Luke out of the race. And we have Oliver out of the race. Oh, what has happened there? I was not paying attention to what was going on. And you can see that he's not very happy about it. And Stanley's only 1.7 behind. And so really the only battle we're going on right now is Yevgeny and Stanley, and we also have Banana Josh only a second behind Eduardo's teammate, and Robin really chopping down that gap as well. And Albert's made a comeback, P4. So Stanley's got that gap from like about 5.5 seconds about to 1.2. So Stanley looking really good here in the wet. I have to see because of penalties. I'm actually not sure if Ross is Evgeny's got another penalty, but you know, so Stanley does have 2 penalties. He's got 3 penalties actually. So he really needs to clear out a big gap if he wants to keep, or if he wants to take the race win. Alright, how's your stomach? So we have Oliver out of the race, we have Luca out of the race. Other than that, not much happening. Except for these top 2 who are actually scrapping to the lead. Stanley only 2/10 right behind Yevgeny here. They're going to go up into the hairpin. He's going to actually lock his brakes, give him a little bit of a tap. Oh yeah. Oh, Stanley's hit the wall. Not sure if that's giving him wing damage or not. I don't think it has. Pardon? So it looks like Stanley is actually falling back behind, or he's falling behind Yevgeny. But Yevgeny is safe because of penalties. So far, I think Stanley has about 6 more seconds of penalties than Yevgeny, but you know, you never know what's going to happen in the race. Yeah, so Stanley does have quite a few penalties. I believe it's about 9 seconds. Yeah. So we could see a new race. We are actually going to see a new race winner here this weekend. Looking this way, it will be Yevgeny who does take the race win, but you never know. He could spin it or anything. I'm not going to say anything. Far out. Commentator's curse. If I call that, I'm actually so sorry. But yeah, Stanley not finding it. He's lost his pace. Clawing about 5.5 seconds down to being right behind him, and now he's actually falling back another second. And it looks like Bernard Josh as well. He'll take another. He'll take his first points finish of the season. Oh, Stanley's lost a bit of time. And that's put Ludwig up into P2. Yes, he's made quite a big mistake. The double right-hander, you mean? Oh, through the middle sector. Oh yeah. So it could be a Mercedes 3.4. Actually, yeah, it will be. It probably will be a Mercedes 3.4. You know. Pardon? But let's see how much Ludwig has of penalties. He's got 80 penalties. So actually, Ludwig, if he claims if he gets in a bit more time, he actually could win this race. He only needs to gain another 2/10, and then he's in the time penalty window, and then he could actually steal the race win. And it looks like he actually is pushing quite a bit. Fuel lights coming on. He's using all of his ERS. Yeah, so he needs to keep him within 3 seconds of Yevgeny to take this race win. So, coming from the start of the race, you would never expect Ludwig to be in this position. Or you wouldn't... Well, starting, what was it? P8, P9, P10 on the grid. Yeah, only one starting on the soft tyre. He actually had a really nice strategy this morning. So, if he does pull this off, this could be quite a really satisfying win. And his first win of the season. So we come on the last lap of the race. At the moment, Ludwig is looking to be the race winner unless Yevgeny can pull out another 5/10 of a second. Well, at the moment, it's looking like that, isn't it? So we're going to jump on board with Yevgeny. Yeah. So Yevgeny, he gets another time penalty. So Yevgeny comes across the line. He'll win the Austrian Grand Prix on track, but Ludwig will jump on penalties, and Ludwig will take the race win. Stanley in P3 is what. Actually, no, he gets jumped by Albert. And Joseph comes home in P5, Robin in P6 after having a quite terrible mid stage through the race. But now Joshua Coppers get his first points of the race, first point of the season in the P7, or P6 actually, jumps Robin with penalties, and then Eduardo finishes off the grid. So we'll invite these top 3 in here. As Ludwig wins his first race of the season, and I think the first race of the TNF1. So we have a race winner here, Ludwig, first race winner of the season, and I think of the whole TNF1. So congratulations, and looks like you had a pretty you struggled in qualifying a little bit, but you started on the soft tyres and it actually played into your strategy quite nicely, and you jumped Yevgeny penalties, which I'm sure you'll be happy with.
Yeah, sure. My plan all along was actually to qualify in the soft to be able to get to rain. But about the race win, I don't know, because I would probably have a penalty from collisions with Van Renault. That was entirely my fault, and I would probably have like a 5-second penalty from that, demoting me from the win. But I felt like I had the pace for once this season, and it went pretty well.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on your first win, and I think next race, what is it? Can't remember what.
Germany.
Germany. I'll see you next week at Germany. Yeah. And do we have Yevgeny? Yevgeny P2. You actually had another nice strategy call starting on the supers. pulled him out to the rain, unlike Stanley, who actually pitted. But that strategy call really played into your hands quite nicely, and you got a podium out of it.
Yeah, but I'm not happy.
Yeah, I'm sure you were not happy, but
yeah, it's I thought first the Merc driver was behind me. I heard yeah, 9 seconds penalty. Okay, I thought I got it, but then the other driver in the Haas, he had no penalty, so I was starting pushing again. Small mistakes, and then on the final corner of the last lap, I get another 3 seconds penalty. So yeah, this could be my win, but no. Again, second place. But yeah,
yeah, obviously,
I'm gonna take the points.
yeah, obviously you're capable of a win, and we'll see what you can do next week at Germany. So congrats on the podium, but see you next weekend.
Yeah, thank you.
Albert, you can hear me, mate?
Yes.
Alright, you got P3 finish for you. You had that incident in qualifying, which you had given you a 5-place grid penalty. I'm not sure where you qualified. Wait, where did you qualify again?
Second, I guess. Yeah, second.
Second. Yeah, but
Yeah.
that would put you back to P7, and what? I think you started on the super softs, didn't you? Oh, ultra softs.
I started with ultras, then I had an incident with the Red Bull. I had front wing damage. I had to pit, and then
Yeah, so after all those
yeah,
incidents, you
yeah,
did
I'm-
manage to climb your way back up the grid.
yeah, I think I pushed you a little bit, so I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry to all the drivers that I have been caught. I was stupid. I wasn't paying attention. I Yeah, well, it's just racing. Anyway, I'm really happy with my P3. I knew I had the pace for the rain, and that's it.
Yeah, so that is a pretty, it must be a pretty satisfying podium for you, and yeah, we'll see you next weekend at Hockenheim. And so that concludes our coverage of the TNF1 F2 category for the Austrian Grand Prix, and you should join us next weekend for the German Grand Prix, as we might see a new race winner for the F2. Josh Panks starting in the combox, but having a Merrill in the combox with me throughout the second part of the race. Do you have anything to say, Merrill? You think you need to do that yourself, but yeah. So signing up from the combox. We'll see you next weekend at Germany.